Hey everyone, this is Dan from App Vitals, and today I want to go over a cloud agent that we built here. So it's basically a cloud-hosted service that runs Claude Code in isolated sandboxes, and it can handle any development task using natural language. And in general, I just wanted to experiment with these sandboxes that I've been seeing popping up. What can we do with them? What can we run on them? This is actually a pretty advanced feature. We're running Claude Code with Postgres and Redis. I wanted to be able to basically run my dev environment and have an agent be able to run test suites and all that stuff. So that's what we built. You post it a prompt and the repo URL. A task gets queued up. We're using FastAPI and Celery. Claude Code will run in the sandbox and return the results. So it's just a prompt and a repo. It's all running in Novita sandboxes. Novita is similar to E2B sandboxes, but it's a little bit cheaper. So E2B has like a minimum fee of $150 a month. Novita is basically has the same API, so you can use the same Python SDK. But you just pay for your usage. Let me actually go to that real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So here is the repo. So again, all open source. You guys free to use it, mess around with it, everything. Here's the Novita API. We're using the sandboxes here. I guess it's a new feature. So you can see all your sandboxes running. Let's go back here. The usage dashboard so you can see all your usage, and I just put $10 in. So far I spent 30 cents to build this, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty easy to get up and running and not too expensive. On the other hand, I've spent way more money on using the Anthropic API than I have for these sandboxes, so cheap compared to an agent. All right, now let's go ahead and dive into the code, and I'm going to show you some examples. So, all right, here we are. Here's my little YouTube script. I think I went through all of this stuff. Yeah, simple API. You can create a task, check the task status, get the logs. So I'll show you what that means in a little bit. So how did I get Claude Code, Postgres, Redis all installed? Well, cool thing is it's just a Docker file. And then what I did was I installed their Novita CLI, and you can just run this template build, and it will build this Docker container for you. It builds it all locally and then pushes it to their Docker registry. And you can see the details of what I built here. So this is my team ID, nothing secret in here. This is the template name and template ID. Let's see, what else is interesting? We can kind of walk through the code a little bit. Models are pretty straightforward. We have a task. It just has the prompt and the status and the result. This is the sandbox ID that it ran on. This is the repository URL. We have task logs, which is even less interesting. Let me disable my editor here so it doesn't think everything's an error. Okay, so it's just like this is the stream, so standard out, standard error, and format. So Claude Code actually outputs JSON when you run it in a headless mode, and then the actual content is here. And let's see, API is kind of what you would expect from FastAPI, so I'm not going to get into that. We're just kind of creating a task and then queuing up Celery here. So pretty easy. And then I'll just go to the agent execution here. So we've queued up our task that we just created. We say that it's running, then we create the sandbox, update it with the sandbox ID, and then we set up the Git configuration, which is just kind of random stuff right now. We can go into that next. We clone the repository. Then we run Claude Code. So relatively straightforward, actually. Let's go to that sandbox thing. So this is the, remember it's using this E2B SDK. And here's our API key. We use .env, so you can set all that up. We don't actually, we use the Novita API key, and then we kind of override these two things here. Then we also have our Anthropic key and our GitHub token. So we want it to be able to run the GitHub CLI and Claude. So I want Claude to be able to run the GitHub CLI and Git. So all that stuff's installed. We create a sandbox. We can pass those environment variables in. We set a timeout here so it doesn't just run away forever. I think the timeout right now is like 10 minutes. Claude Code timeout is like 5 minutes. Let's keep going here. What else do we have? We start the services, so this starts Postgres and Redis, which are already installed. We could maybe have a flag, to not always do that, but it's fast. Then we clone the repository. So this is what you would expect, and we run Claude Code. This actually took a minute, so I wanted Claude Code to time out, so I didn't want it to run away and use up my tokens. And then I had to escape quotes and stuff inside of the prompt. So here's just a little bit here. So we have the timeout. We use the bash timeout because I wanted to be able to capture all the output, even if we timed out the request, so I could see if it was like spinning on something. That's why I capture all the logs, so I can always optimize how I want to use the agent for any given project. And then here's the we run the command. This command exit exceptions if we time out, and we always capture the standard out, standard error. This lets us know, okay, we timed out. Otherwise, that's it. So it's pretty straightforward, but it's actually really, really powerful. So let's go ahead and let's go back to this YouTube script to help me, because I have a demo set up here. So let's run the FastAPI server. Let's run Celery. And then I'm going to actually also run Claude to do this demo, just because it's easier. And let's just say, see what it does. So I think long term, maybe I would have an MCP server that could just call this and kick off background tasks, so I could have a bunch of tasks running in parallel, maybe on clouds. I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out. For now, it's just like, all right, let's see what we can do. And so obviously we can run Postgres, Redis, we can run whatever we want. We can run Claude, we can clone the GitHub repo. You can kind of imagine like any type of thing that you want to do. So GitHub App Vitals Cloud Agent. Don't update tests or run lint, just add the auth and push. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, it actually looks like it finished, so can you check the status? I kind of just have Claude do everything these days, so let's see. Looks like we are done. Sweet. All right, now let's actually go to my Chrome. Okay. All right, so it actually did push something, which is pretty nuts. I should have had it create a PR, but let's see. So this actually looks kind of awesome. Verify API key. Okay, API key. Header name. All right, sweet. All right, so tests are failing. Now, Let's actually to create a PR this time. Now I'd like for the agent to fix the tests and rough format /check and create a PR. Right. So while we wait, let's actually do some stuff here. Can you tell me what actions Claude took to create the auth dependency? So let's see. It's going to pull the logs. It's going to look at the logs. Logs are quite verbose, but useful for debugging for now. Right now I'm storing them in the database. I don't know if long term it would be good, but let's see what we got here. So created a to-do list with 5 things. Look at all this info we have. Explored the code structure, discovered this stuff, created authentication dependency, applied authentication to the endpoints, updated the environment, committed and pushed. That is pretty nuts. The power of Claude Code. Ooh, finished. Sick. All right, let's go ahead and first let's take a look at Chrome. We got a pull request. Are they going to be green? All right, lint is green. And if I go back here, lint was red. Sweet. Oh, man. Claude. Oh, it looks like we still have a little bit of red here. So we got close, but didn't quite make it. All right, so it's still unauthorized. Let's see what it did. So it tried to add auth headers, but they weren't right. All right, let's go back to the terminal here. Okay, let's get the logs here. Well, it started. Okay, so everything actually passed locally. That's pretty nuts. All right, so pass locally, dev secret key. All right, so I just pulled this locally, didn't make any changes, and it all works. So there's something up with the GitHub action. So the agent actually did the right thing. The GitHub action is still broken. I'm okay with that. I could, have the agent look at the GitHub action, but I think we've proven the point. All right, this is all open source. Have fun with it. Mess around with it. Let us know if you do anything cool with it. And if you want to work with us, there's a link to schedule a discovery call. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. All right, thanks.